Welcome to the first video on the Grant Writing 101 video series. My name is Kelly, and I'm with the Community Development Unit of Alberta Culture, Multiculturalism, and Status of Women. Before I begin, I would like to mention that our goal in this video series is to give you the knowledge to improve your proposal and grant writing skills and be able to apply these skills and improve your future applications. The intent is for you to walk away with at least one new tip or piece of information that will help you when thinking about developing and sustaining your community project or initiative. The information presented is aimed at an introductory level or as a refresher for those who want to apply for grants and be successful in their applications. We have some related resources to this video that we can share with you. In the description of this video, there's a link to the Grant Writing Toolkit that provides additional links and resources that we think are helpful for you and your nonprofit organization as you plan for your grants. Included in this toolkit is also a copy of the slide deck we use for this video. You can also hit the subscribe button and turn the notification on to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notification about our upcoming videos. Before we start, I'd also like to mention that the information offered in this video and the related materials are not intended to constitute consulting or other professional services of any kind. We are not funders, nor do we have any authority or oversight over funding decisions. The information we're sharing with you is based on research and discussions with various funders that we think will be helpful to you as you complete your grant applications. By the end of this Grant Writing 101 four-part video series, you will be able to identify various steps in the grant application process, describe research and preparation in the grant application process, describe various steps in writing and submitting a grant application, identify and explain the components of proposal design, identify various funding sources, types of grants, and where to look for them, recognize the importance of knowing and building relationships with funders, recognize the importance of accountability to funders, and identify practical tips to write and polish your grant applications. By the end of part 1 of this Grant Writing 101 video series, you will be able to identify various steps in the grant application process and describe research and preparation in the grant application process. So let's get started on the Grant Writing Part 1 video. In the fall of 2016, the State of Grant report found roughly 1/3 of submitted grants were successful. In the spring of 2019, the Community Grants Office within our ministry reported that 95% of the applications they receive are incomplete, mostly citing things like missing information and lack of clarity in the writing. Our goal in this video is to give you the knowledge to improve your proposal and grant writing skills and be able to apply these skills to ensure that you're in the top 1/3 of applications. The intent is for you to walk away with at least one new tip or piece of information that will help you when thinking about developing and sustaining your community project or initiative. This Grant Writing 101 video series will include an overview of information, tips, and resources as it relates to proposal writing, project planning, applying for grants, and the importance of knowing your funders. When we ask nonprofit volunteers and staff about the kinds of challenges or struggles that they have when applying for grants, we hear many different responses, and these are some of them. For example, many individuals don't know how to get clarity from their board on the projects that they want to apply for funding for. They don't know how to research and find grants that fit their needs. They have difficulty in understanding and answering questions on the grant application. They find grant application terminology confusing and can't find good grant writing resources. They have difficulty building relationships with funders, clarifying eligibility requirements, and structuring grant applications. They have challenges in addressing operational sustainability in grant applications and what to include in the budget. Now, there's a good chance that you have or will experience one or more of these challenges applying for grants. In this video series, we're going to talk about how to overcome many of these common challenges that you may face in the process of writing grant applications. Let's start by looking at the difference between proposals and grants. Proposal writers submit proposals and may receive grants. Funders, on the other hand, make decisions to either award or decline to award grants. Now, what if you think about a grant as an opportunity to partner with the funder instead of an opportunity to raise money for your nonprofit? On the left side of the slide, you can see what a proposal is. A lot of government grants are listed as a request for proposal or RFP. This is an interesting phrase, and it means that the funder is asking for help to solve a community problem. This is a shift in perspective. Rather than looking at grants as simply funds that your nonprofit can access, think of grants instead as opportunities for your nonprofit to partner with a funder to do work in the community. This shift of perspective will support how you put a proposal together. No matter what type of nonprofit you are, there is a direct relationship between the organization's internal proposal development process and how successful it is at securing grant funding. This slide highlights some important underlying principles of successful proposal writing that can help your nonprofit be more successful in securing grant funding. You want to highlight that your proposal focuses on the community needs rather than on the needs of your organization. Funders expect that after reading your proposal, they will have a better understanding of your nonprofit and what it does. But they also want to know what community needs your organization is trying to address. Funders are looking for a sense that when they award a grant to your organization, they will have a partner who will help them make a positive impact on a specific need in the community. In this video series, we want to help you shift your perspective and move away from the mindset of we need money or focusing on the organization to we're here to help solve the problem or focusing on a cause, in other words. Part of this shift in perspective is looking at grants to address a specific cause that your organization is supporting. So focus on the cause you support. Now look at the following questions. This is how you answer these questions when you have two different perspectives. So, question 1, what's the problem? If you're organization focused, your answer is, our organization doesn't have money. But when you're cause focused, your answer is, there is an explicit need in the community. There is a clear description of what the community needs, and there is evidence to support that this need exists. Question 2. What's the solution? With an organization-focused perspective, your answer is, give us money. This is not a compelling argument from a funder's perspective. Those that have been in the nonprofit world for some time will know that money is not always the solution to an organization's challenges. With cause-focused perspective, your answer is a clear description with evidence of how your program or service offers an effective solution to the problem. You demonstrate how your organization is meeting or trying to meet the needs of the community. And the last question, what's the result? If you have an organization-focused perspective, the answer is, you keep on doing you. We can continue to be here to do something. Well, having that attitude is not the greatest sales pitch. But with a cause-focused perspective to answer this question, your proposal describes the short and long-term benefits that the community will have as a result of receiving those funds. You'll describe the impact you will make in the community. Remember, it's not about what you need. If your grant application starts with a sentence like, we need money because, your application is probably going to end up in the discard pile right away. Keep your cause at the center of your writing, and you should at least make it into the for further consideration pile. To make it into the top 1/3 pile and get funded, you need to prove that there is a community need and that you have the expertise and ability to get the job done better than other applicants. In terms of the overall grant application process, we can see from this visual that there's a lot of work that needs to be done before we even start filling out the actual proposal or application form. I'll just quickly name the steps now because we'll cover all of these steps in more detail as we go through the video series. Before we even start writing, there is a large component of preparation and research that needs to be done. Here is where we identify the need in the community and the evidence you have to prove it. The next stage is developing and writing proposals. Here is where you decide what you're trying to accomplish. What exactly are you asking for? What is your plan, and what resources have been allocated to make it happen? The next step is exploring, identifying, and getting to know your funding source. Here is where you see what is out there in terms of funding and grants, and try to understand and align with the objectives of the funding organization. Who are the funding sources? Who are the actual people, and what are their vision, mission, and values, etc. It's only after you've considered all of these steps that you now can apply for the grant. So you can see that the actual grant application is not the first step in the process of creating a strong and competitive proposal. There are many things to think about before you actually start filling out the application form. So let's start with the first step in the granting process, research and preparation. Before you talk to any funder or search for grants or write your proposal, you need to do some planning. Planning is actually the most important part, but it's often rushed. But remember the old saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So how do you go about identifying needs and opportunities in your community or with your clients? Look around your community, scan your environment on your own and with your board and staff. What's happening? Many community issues are related to each other, so you need to determine if you want to address several related issues or just one of them. For example, if an organization's mandate is to end youth homelessness, what is it specifically doing to achieve this goal? There are a lot of complicating factors in homelessness: addictions, mental health, family violence, coming out as LGBTQ, for example. Are you addressing any or all of these factors that can lead to or coexist with youth homelessness? What evidence do you have that this is a need in your community? How do you know that the issue of youth homelessness needs to be addressed? Are there statistics or news articles in your community that highlight this need? What have you seen in your community? What are other people saying about the need? You should also think about who else is working in this area. Is this a duplication of service? Remember that funders are often hesitant to fund multiple organizations doing the same or similar work in the same community. If your work is similar to other work that is already being done in the community, what makes your program or project unique and standalone? If you're not exploring a unique solution to a specific need or opportunity, you may want to consider collaboration with other organizations. You may have the opportunity to share human, financial, and infrastructure resources. In addition, proposals that involve collaboration between multiple organizations can themselves be unique. After you identify what's happening and whether others are working on the issue or not, you need to ask, how does this fit with the vision and mission of our organization? The core of who your organization is and what you do is your vision and mission. These foundational statements should guide all decisions about what programs to start, stop, or change, what money to pursue, and so on and so forth. If you can't explain what your organization does and how it benefits the community, and how this specific need or opportunity aligns with your organization, you'll have a tough time getting a grant. You can usually find your foundational statements in your strategic plan, which helps guide the work of your organization. Therefore, it also guides what grants you should pursue because the grant should align with your organization's goals and what it's trying to accomplish. There are some questions you need to consider when planning for a grant application. Why should your community project or program exist? This is the broadest question that you could ask, and it's a question that should be answered for the sake of your organization and for the funder who you hope to get money from. What will be different in the community because of this project or program? Be honest and don't change your story to make your organization or your project fit the funder's mandate. Clearly understand and articulate the mission of your organization, your programs, and the clients or community you serve. If this has changed over the years, that's okay. Share this history to demonstrate how your organization is responsive to the changing needs of your community. This shows funders that you check in with your community, clients, and citizens, that you're capable of adapting so that you're always relevant to current community needs. Describe the future. What does your project expect to do? Describe what the impact will look like. The outcome of your project will lead to that impact. Outcomes are specific, measurable statements that let you know you've reached your goals. Who will benefit from the project or program? Will it be part of the greater community or a particular group of people or demographic? And how will they benefit from your work? What are the specific activities that will be offered? Where and who will deliver them? How will people find out about the program? What resources will you use? What do you currently have to support the project or program? Think about existing dollars that you have available, the staff that can do the work, or the volunteers that are available to help you. Describe your community. Who are your supporters, stakeholders, beneficiaries, and partners? Do you have defined roles and responsibilities? What's required of those involved? Have you described the different roles and responsibilities of the various individuals or groups who would be involved in carrying out the project or program? Who are those individuals or groups accountable to? How will the project or program be managed? What are the reporting relationships? How and when will the project or program operate? If you know them, state the anticipated start times. If you plan ahead, you look more organized. If it is a short notice or an emergency project, describe why. Indicate why you're asking for now and at this moment. What support is needed? Explain whether it's long-term or short-term support. Is it money you need right now? And/or is there time to implement the program or service? Do you have access to other grants or other income streams to help fund the project or program? Add this information if it's relevant. If a grant you're applying for is a matching grant, do you have the matching dollars you need to match it with? If you have access to a matching grant, include this information and indicate to what percentage. How will the project or program be financed beyond grant dollars? Is this program sustainable? Just like describing the future outcomes that will be achieved, describe what will happen afterwards when the project is over. Funders want to see a legacy as well. So if you can describe what their impact will look like long after their funding runs out, this can support your case. Now, this may seem like a lot of work. However, it will make your grant proposal sharp. It shows the commitment and consideration that funders are looking for. Your ability to assess and strategize will show your capability. And showing your capability will increase funders' confidence in your ability to be successful with what you're proposing. Here's an example of a need or opportunity and the evidence to back it up. A local neighborhood association is looking to build a playground as there are no playgrounds or parks in the community. On the grant application, the association includes statistics from a city assessment that indicates there are 430 families with children aged 12 or under living in the neighborhood. This kind of statistic helps you show that there is a need or opportunity for a playground to be built in the community. In this example, the association is including statistics from the city assessment as evidence for the need for a playground in their neighborhood. Now think about your target community. What are some of the needs or opportunities that exist? What evidence do you have for that? If you haven't yet done the research, What kind of information do you think would help to show that these needs or opportunities are real? Let's do a quick summary of what we've covered in this video before we go to the next one. We covered the underlying principles of the successful proposal writing process. Remember, grants should be seen as opportunities for a nonprofit to partner with a funder to work together to address a problem or issue in the community. It's important to focus on the needs of the community rather than on the needs of the organization. In other words, we looked at the benefits of a cause-focused versus organization-focused perspective. We also identified the various steps in the grant application process: the preparation and research stage, developing and writing the proposal or plan stage, and the getting to know your funding source stage, all of which needs to be done before starting the actual grant application itself. And finally, we dug deeper and described the research and preparation step, which includes identifying community needs, opportunities, and evidence. This brings us to the end of the first video in the Grant Writing 101 video series. Thank you for watching. Our contact information is on the slide and it's in the toolkit as well. If you're in Alberta and have a question, need further information, or would like to request our services, you can contact us by email or phone. You can also contact our Community Grants Office about the various grants that are available for nonprofit organizations from the Government of Alberta. You can access our website to know more about our resources and services. Lastly, if you want to be notified of our future services and resources, you can add your email address to our subscription form and you'll receive updates as they become available. The link to the subscription form is in the description of the video as well. Thank you for your attention. Take care, and always remember that our communities have so much more because of everything you do. Thank you, and bye for now.